Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank all of you for being here. What an important subject, Ms. Whitty. God bless you. Thank you so much for your testimony. I appreciate it. Mr. Kelly, I'm going to start with you. Your devices, and you make a good point. We do need to do something, and obviously as much as we can do about drunken driving, but your devices, you're not up to the point where you can use it for drug driving, because what I want to discuss in my little bit of time here is the drug driving. So you're not at that point yet. Yours is just with alcohol.
The ignition interlock, yes, right now is specific to alcohol. There are some testing devices that are out there that can detect marijuana, but it's the presence of marijuana, and then that's when you link it back to the impairment level.
So so there are devices out there that can actually monitor or measure for marijuana?
It detects marijuana.
Detects marijuana.
And there are some other companies that are looking at some research and some devices that would be able to detect other types of drugs as well. But it's a strict pointer system as opposed to saying, okay, well, now you're impaired. Especially with marijuana, first of all, whether you smoke it, you vape it, it's an oil, it's an edible.
Right.
It all's different.
Right.
And so even to just pointing to it with marijuana is difficult to say, okay, well, was it a week ago?
Okay.
An hour ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Ms. Whitting, let me ask you, I understand that in your testimony when I was reading it, it said that you support MAD and the work that they're doing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to address drug driving. What do you want to see come out of that effort? I know you're not here representing MAD, but what are they looking for?
Well, what is MAD looking for?
In the way of monitoring for drug driving.
For drugged driving.
Right.
I am here to support MAD.
Okay.
And we are working hard. We're working in tandem. The thing is, there's so many drugs. And what I hear from police officers is we can determine impairment, but for a certain device to determine impairment is the question. So what happens is we know what determines impairment through the BAC of alcohol. So that's something we know, that the drugs with the number of them and how they change so quickly, that's an emerging issue. So yes, but we're right on it. We are drunk and drugged driving.
Okay.
So absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, here's my point. I agree with Dr. Bucshon. I agree with Representative McNerney that we need some kind of universal device that would help us, or universal solution. Here's the point I want to make. In full disclosure, I am absolutely, adamantly opposed to the recreational use of marijuana. Currently, I'm the only pharmacist serving in Congress, and I will tell you, I consider it to be nothing more than a gateway drug. I'm sorry, that's just my feeling. If that offends you, then that's something you just have to deal with. But let me tell you, right now, marijuana is a Schedule I drug. That means that it's for investigational use only. It cannot have research done on it. The DEA is failing the American public here by not letting research take place on marijuana. I would hope that MAD will address that. We had an attorney general who was going to address this, who was going to say that we have a federal law that prohibits marijuana use, yet we have states going out legalizing the recreational use of marijuana. But that attorney general is gone now. So it's not being addressed. This is something that needs to be addressed by the DEA. Currently, I'm writing an op-ed right now in conjunction with one of my Democratic colleagues, Representative Earl Blumenthal, about the need for research into medical marijuana. Now, that's a whole different subject than the recreational marijuana, but we need to have the ability to do research. If we could do research on marijuana, we would have the ability to detect and maybe provide some of these and create some of these devices that would check this. So I hope that would be something that MAD would address and something that MAD will work on and help us with.
I would hope so. Here's the issue. MAD has got to focus on driving, drunk and drugged driving. And so, exactly what you're saying, we can't get to the driving until we have that research done.
Absolutely.
So we have to be careful that we remain focused. Just like we're not against alcohol, we're against drunk driving. As we have to take the position we're not against marijuana, we're against marijuana and driving. Now, don't ask me to say personally, okay? I mean, I get it. But that's where our power is. We remain focused. But I think what my worry is this is not a priority. We need to keep this, the drunk and drugged driving a priority so that we can stop the killing that's happening.
Absolutely.
But,
Valid point. Thank you, Ms. Whitty, again, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And I yield back.
Thank you. The gentleman yields back, and I